Motors is in the spotlight again, and once again for all the wrong reasons. The carmaker hit a few unexpected bumps in the road to electrification. They recently released their third quarter earnings, and it didn't quite go as planned. In fact, their numbers fell short of what everyone was expecting. And as if that was not enough, the automaker just tossed their earnings forecast out the window. They had been aiming for an impressive range of $11 billion to $12 billion in adjusted earnings before interest and taxes, a goal they'd even raised back in July. But now, the automaker is scaling back. So what's happening to Ford? And will the company be able to recover? Ford is in the midst of an electrifying crisis, and it sent shockwaves through the auto industry. Their CEO has made a surprising move, halting the production of electric vehicles, and it's got everyone talking. The thing is, Ford's been facing some serious heat from consumers. People just aren't embracing their electric cars, and it's become a bit of a headache for them. The third quarter earnings are now telling a grim tale. Low demand is haunting Ford, and they're selling electric cars at a colossal loss. To make matters worse, they've had to say goodbye to a whopping 92,000 unsold electric cars, which are now taking up space at dealer lots. And if that wasn't enough, they've hemorrhaged a staggering $4.5 billion in just 1 year due to their electric endeavors. This isn't just a bump in the road, it's a full-blown catastrophe. Now, Ford's CEO Jim Farley is taking a surprising U-turn. He's slamming the brakes on electric vehicles and revving up production of what the everyday Joe loves: affordable combustion engine cars. It's like Ford's doing a 180, shifting away from their EV flagship models. But why the sudden change of heart? Ford's decision to hit the brakes on EV production has sent shockwaves not only through its own ranks, but has also made its competitors rethink their strategies. But here's the kicker, it's not just any electric vehicle they're putting on pause. It's the F-150 Lightning, once considered the jewel in Ford's crown. They've pulled the plug on their electric truck and it's left everyone stunned. You might be wondering why Ford's making this drastic move. They've been giving all sorts of excuses, but the real issue is simple: low demand. Ford tried to play in the luxury segment and forgot how to make affordable vehicles. Now they're paying the price, and it's a hefty one: $4.5 billion. That's a lot of zeros. In the third quarter of 2023, sales of the F-150 Lightning took a jaw-dropping nosedive, plummeting by a staggering 46%. But here's the shocker: this isn't just a Ford problem. The entire EV industry seems to be grappling with a similar issue. Production in the EV world skyrocketed by a whopping 350% in 2023, but it's left a haunting image in its wake. Hundreds of thousands of unsold EVs gathering dust on dealership floors across the country. On average, it takes about 92 days to sell an EV, while their combustion engine counterparts fly off the lot in just 40 days. Most dealerships don't even want to touch these EVs with a 10-foot pole. In a desperate bid to stoke demand, Ford slashed the prices on its 2023 F-150 Lightning, offering some hefty incentives and making the most of federal tax cuts. But even with up to $15,000 knocked off the sticker price, there's a glaring sense that the Lightning's shine has dimmed. So why is Ford caught up in the middle of such a colossal crisis? Garrett Nelson, an analyst with CFRA, has pointed out a major disconnect between what manufacturers like Ford are trying to sell and what consumers are actually itching to buy. The problem, you see, is that EVs just aren't practical right now. We're talking about charging infrastructure woes and range anxiety that have left folks turning their backs on EVs. Even if you muster up the courage to buy one, you'll probably end up with a hefty price tag hanging on your shoulders. It's a tough road ahead for Ford and the EV industry as a whole. Darren Palmer, Ford's vice president, recently tried to put a positive spin on the EV situation, saying it's a tad premature to worry about those EVs stacking up at dealer lots. But let's face it, numbers don't lie. Recent reports have unveiled a looming financial storm for Ford's EV division. They're anticipating $4.5 billion in loss this year, and that's after taking a massive hit of $2.1 billion last year. Ouch. There are three key culprits behind this financial storm. The first one is high investment costs. Shifting from internal combustion engines to EVs demands a colossal investment. Think research, development, manufacturing, infrastructure, and training. It's a big commitment, and it was exemplified by Ford's plan to construct a $3.5 billion battery factory in Michigan. Meanwhile, companies like Tesla have chosen cheaper production locations like China. Ford, being an American manufacturer, is also dealing with high labor costs. They're shelling out hefty wages to their workers, which is all well and good, and they're benefiting from government tax incentives. But it's a double-edged sword. Now let's talk about Ford's pricing strategy, which is a head-scratcher. In an attempt to snag a larger slice of the market and stay in the race with competitors, Ford announced a reduction in the price of their electric F-150 Lightning pickup truck. The price drop is supposedly because of cheaper raw battery materials. While this move could pay off in the long run, it's causing some short-term financial headaches. But it's not just Ford's pricing strategy that's at fault. Ford dealers are also in on the action, and they're not exactly helping. They're marking up their vehicles, and we're not talking about small markups here. These dealers are squeezing out every buck they can get from Ford models. So despite the optimism from Ford's VP, the road ahead is still bumpy, and there's a lot of work to be done to steer clear of the financial storm on the horizon. Establishing a solid foothold in the EV market is absolutely crucial for long-term sustainability. As CFO John Lawler pointed out, startups in the EV world often face losses as they work on growing their capabilities and market share. But Ford, as a legacy automaker, might be leveraging its long-established reputation while absorbing these losses as it ventures into innovation. However, if those EVs aren't selling, they won't survive on brand image alone. Now let's talk about something that's ignited quite a debate in the automotive industry: the rapid transition to electric vehicles. Some folks are all for it, while others are waving the flag for internal combustion engines. According to Ford's top executives, internal combustion engines are far from extinct. They're saying that the future of propulsion won't be as clear-cut as we thought. There's a whole spectrum of options between pure ICE and pure EV. Ford, for instance, is holding the number 3 spot in hybrid sales, trailing behind Toyota and Honda. This shows there's still a significant market demand for hybrid vehicles. Banning internal combustion engines might also throw some unforeseen supply chain challenges into the mix. See, most of the resources needed for EVs come from China, and there are better choices than putting such power in the hands of a single country. So while the road to an electric future is clear, it's full of twists and turns. Jim Farley isn't standing alone in this debate. Recently, the CEO of Jeep issued a stern warning to the industry, calling a ban on internal combustion engines by 2035 outright stupid. His concern is the need for more affordability when it comes to electric vehicles, which could potentially exclude the middle class from vehicle ownership. It's a valid point that deserves consideration. And they're not the only ones. The CEOs of BMW and Mercedes have also chimed in, labeling the ICE ban a big mistake. These automotive giants are exploring radically new technologies like hydrogen and ammonia fuel cells. Their goal is to reduce prices and expand options for consumers, so there's more than one way to navigate the road to the future. Ford is strongly echoing the sentiment that internal combustion engines are here to stay. They're going full throttle into the world of internal combustion engines combined with hybrid powertrains. Popular models like the Maverick, Ranger, and Explorer are getting updates with stronger hybrid systems. With Ford abruptly halting the EV production, including their best-selling F-150, it's no wonder the automotive world is in turmoil. Ford's massive gamble in the electric realm is on shaky ground, but is there still time for Ford to understand what buyers really want? Well, as they say, better late than never. So the big question remains, have we all jumped the gun on electric vehicles too soon? Jim Farley is certainly going against the industry trend, and only time will reveal what the future holds for Ford. Now we want to hear from you. Do you think combustion engines should be banned? Are EVs a scam? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more exciting content. See you in the next one.